Welcome to Glutened, the podcast where we amplify the voices of those living with celiac disease and allergies or intolerances. Each episode offers a unique perspective and invaluable insight into life with celiac disease. I'm your host, Maisa, and together let's share stories, foster understanding, and build a supportive community for everyone. On today's episode, we have the lovely Jen, who found out that she was celiac just over a year ago. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and share. Let's chat. Tell me a bit about your journey. How were you diagnosed with celiac disease and how it has impacted your life?
Okay, well, I was diagnosed on October the 11th, 2022, which is a date I'll never forget.
Oh.
So I didn't even know the doctor was testing me for celiac disease because a bit of background history. My mum died from bowel cancer. She was 72. She was never diagnosed with celiac disease. And thinking back now, I know that there were lots of similarities with our symptoms, except that she was constipated and I was completely the other way.
Okay.
If that's not too much information.
No,
I don't think
go ahead.
it is in this kind of scenario. So I had a few problems and I went to the doctor back in 2017 and asked what they could do to check, because I was worried about bowel cancer, and they did a colonoscopy at that point and they didn't find anything, so I sort of carried along on my merry way. And then in 2019 I started experiencing low grade stomach pain. Anything specific, but it kept recurring. I couldn't pinpoint what it was, what it was that was making it happen. I also suffered with brain fog, what I now know to be brain fog. I didn't know at the time. I just thought it's my age, I'm getting older. And of course I was going through the end of the menopause, so a lot of symptoms that I had, like aching joints, brain fog, not sleeping very well, waking up in the middle of the night, 4 times. I put them, and extreme fatigue. I kind of put them all down to the menopause because of that age.
Yeah.
A lot of the symptoms overlap. So it was a bit muddy. So anyway, in 2022, I went back to the doctor again, and he knew out the door, because the first time I went with low pain, he said, well, has it gone at the moment? And I said, yes. He said, well, don't worry about it then, and come back if it comes back. And then we had COVID, and so it was impossible to go and see anybody or do anything. Obviously, the low grade pain continued and all the symptoms continued through COVID. And in 2022, I went back and the doctor nearly sent me out the door, but another doctor came in and said, I think we better investigate this a bit further.
Yeah.
And I had another colonoscopy. They did find a small polyp, which they removed. Thankfully, that was okay. But I didn't know I was being tested for celiac disease. And when they did the test, you get a TTG level, don't you? And the normal is between 0 and 20. Mine was 1,618.
Oh my God.
Pretty high. Well, I didn't actually know. The doctor just rang me out of the blue. Well, after I'd had some blood tests, which I wasn't really sure what they were for, and he said, I'm just confirming that you have celiac disease. I can confirm that on the TTG levels because they're so high.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a shock. And I knew a little bit about it, but nowhere near what I know now. And I was just really relieved that I didn't have bowel cancer at the time that I took the call. But the only advice he gave me, which I've seen lots of people have the same advice, is go away, join Celiac UK and look on the internet. And for newly diagnosed celiacs, it's really scary because I'm a fairly intelligent person, but I came home thinking, I don't even know what I can eat. I know I can eat fruit and vegetables and meat and fish, but what can I eat now? It's lunchtime, something that's quick. And the period of adjustment was quite lengthy, and I love cooking. I'm really lucky that I love cooking as much as I do, because that's hugely. But it was a massive change in my life, and I've heard other people talk about the period of grief that you suffer, and it went on quite a few months when I felt really down and low and sad and isolated. And then I found the lovely Instagrammers, which really helped me hugely. One lady in particular, Alison, who was so sweet to me, and she said, would you like us to have a chat one day on the phone? And we've been talking ever since, which is so nice.
That's lovely.
And I'm going to meet her at the Free Farm Festival in person, which will be so nice. So, because I'm 62 now, and most people are really young, but everybody's kind and everybody's so kind and inclusive. So, the worrying thing is when you find out at this age, and especially with my history, it makes you think, oh God, what damage have I been doing?
Yeah, what was the biggest challenge living with celiac disease? What do you think is the biggest challenge?
Explaining it to other people.
Yes, 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing, because I had so many negative responses early on.
Okay.
Not because people were being horrible, they just didn't understand.
Yeah.
And and to be fair, I didn't completely understand until I got it, and so it was a massive learning curve. And so all of those close to me had to learn it as well.
Yeah.
My kids are 32 and 36. They're amazing, because I think younger people are more open to.
They're more accepting.
Yes.
That's the
people, my peers, in the 60s are, oh, don't be so ridiculous. Of course you can have this. And yes, always that a crumb won't hurt you, and it's really hard to explain that to people.
Yeah.
Some people I know still don't get it. So I've given up trying.
I know some people who has the disease and they still carry on. They just eat bread because they can't give it up, because they're older, as you're saying, and they're just stuck in their ways. They don't want to believe it. They're in denial.
It's crazy. I don't understand how anybody can do that. It's not. If somebody tells you that you shouldn't do something because it's so bad for your health, I mean, to me, it's black and white. You stop doing it.
Exactly, because you don't want to be ill, right? But
no, exactly. And it's not necessarily about being physically ill that you can see, but it's what it's doing to your body
on the inside.
It's mad. It's mad. It's a hard one to explain to people, that's for sure. And I'm finding that I'm getting more confident now. I think at the beginning I was so depressed about having it, but now feeling like I need to shout it from the rooftops and explain it so it becomes normal.
Yeah. I mean, now as well, we've got a bit more, I mean, it's getting a bit better. So, and when you eat out, do you find it tricky to find gluten-free food? Are people accepting, like restaurants, are they all right around the area where you live in, or is it a bit challenging still?
To be honest, I don't eat out very often because I have a couple of times. The choices aren't great.
Okay.
There's one place that I go to for chips as a treat because I know they have a separate fryer. But because I love cooking, if for example you go out for a roast dinner around here, they take off the Yorkshire pudding, they take off the gravy, there's no cauliflower cheese, and I just think, why am I paying all this money for half a dinner when I can make a really nice one at home?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and to be fair, we don't eat out a lot generally, but I love travel, and that was our purpose for travel, was to eat.
Yes. Try
because we like
cuisines, right?
Yeah, we like all kinds of foreign food. That is difficult, but I'm learning to be able to adapt things. And I've only been away abroad twice since I've been diagnosed. Once was to Turkey, which was very difficult, but it's a little village that we've been going to for years. It was difficult, very difficult there.
Yeah.
But then we went to Vietnam last year, and that was amazing.
Oh, nice, because they've got a lot of like rice noodles and stuff like that, don't they?
Yeah, but it took hours of research.
I bet.
A lot of the Instagrammers, and see them putting posts up, but I think it's actually not as easy as you're making it look. It takes hours, and then you still might not get what you're looking for. But I hit gold last year in one hotel in Vietnam where they absolutely catered for me at the dream, and it was for a whole week. I felt like a normal person, which was invaluable and amazing.
That's amazing. It's really good when wherever you go, they're understanding and they know what they're talking, because a lot of times you go to restaurants and they're like, yeah, we've got gluten free, but the oil is been used with different things that are not actually gluten free, but they still call the food gluten free, which is really bad for us as celiacs because of obviously the cross contamination and stuff. And
yeah, shame they can't label things celiac safe.
yeah,
Obviously they can have gluten-free ingredients, but if restaurants actually say this restaurant is celiac safe,
yeah,
I think the problem is our numbers, isn't it? Because 1% is not enough for them to change their practices. Some places will,
yeah,
but which isn't that far. We have had a good experience at Wagamama's in Exeter. They were excellent.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it there. And they had the manager came and took the order separately, and they explained that they had a separate area for preparation. It was all cleaned down, and she said it might take a bit longer because if we've got somebody else with an allergy in the restaurant, then we have to clean down. But it's fine. I don't care how long I have to wait.
As long as I know I'm safe.
Yeah, and the food was really, really good, and they absolutely had it nailed, because one of the starters that was on the menu is gluten free. I was going to order it, and the manager said, "I'm really sorry, we've just had to remove that because we've discovered there's an allergen in one of the ingredients, so I'm afraid you can't have that one." But I was impressed because they were honest about it.
Yeah, they've admitted it. They didn't just risk it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was good.
I'm gonna give it a try actually, because since I found out I'm celiac, I didn't go to Wagamama's anymore. I was at the point.
Yeah, no, and it was, well, I love Asian food, any
Me
kind
too,
of.
Jen. I think that's where we get on.
Well, to be fair, I love food. That's another thing I find it hard to explain to people is I'm still the same person. I still love eating. I still love cooking. I still love food as much as I've always loved it. It just, some things don't love me. And
Oh, it's hard, isn't it?
yeah, it is hard, but I'm a lot more upbeat about it in the last few months. I also discovered recently that I can't tolerate oats, even gluten-free oats.
Okay.
And they were definitely having an adverse effect, but it was affecting me mentally as well. I was feeling depressed, but I think it was because the symptoms started again.
Yeah.
And since I've excluded them, I've noticed a massive improvement, which I'm grateful for.
That's very good. Some dietitians actually say that on some people, the effect of oats is the same effect as when we have wheat.
Yes.
So maybe that doesn't agree with you at all. I mean, I don't eat any oats because I don't think they're safe. Any of them, any kind of them.
No, and I've stopped eating them now, and I've found an alternative. I use buckwheat now instead of oats for making breakfast cereal.
Oh, nice. Is that nice?
Oh, it's delicious, really delicious. Took me. I mean, I'm a great Googler, and you can actually produce most things gluten-free with a bit of effort.
Yeah.
And it's a lot healthier.
That's right, yes. It's just time. You just have to have a bit of time on your hands, don't you?
Yeah, and I'm so lucky that cooking is a hobby of mine.
Yeah.
And so I like experimenting, and I'm finding new things every day. Every day, my poor husband, but he's amazing. He's more or less gluten-free every day. I keep saying, I've just found this. I'm going to go and buy this and make this. And he says, I think your cooking's actually improved.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, we're definitely eating a much healthier diet. There's so much processed food. There's a lot of discussion about ultra processed foods. I'm trying to avoid them as much as possible now. Although, I mean, obviously, some things, I don't make my own mayonnaise because if I've made everything else, then it's like a little bit. I'm just trying to be sensible.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as long as I think, in my opinion, as long as your diet is 80% good, 20% is okay for a wiggle room, right? So
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Right, last question. That was not very long, was it?
No.
Right, what advice would you give someone who has just discovered that they've got celiac disease?
This is quite hard, actually. I mean, I got some really useful information from my dietitian.
Okay.
But I didn't get the information till 3 months after diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the biggest things, I think, is to join Celiac UK because they help me advocate for myself.
Okay.
My doctor just told me on the telephone that I've got celiac disease and go and look on the internet. But he didn't tell me having a DEXA scan or having a dietitian's appointment or having pneumococcal vaccine. And Celiac UK pointed me in the direction of a load of information about celiac disease and what should happen after you've been diagnosed.
Okay.
And that really helped me a lot. If you love cooking, that really helps.
Okay.
Use Google a lot.
I do Google a lot, yeah.
I really try hard to avoid the free from aisle and find things that aren't in the free from aisle because I just look at the list of ingredients on things and I just think, oh.
We're on the same page, Jen. I try not to buy anything that is in the packet as much as I can.
Yeah, and my husband said, if you can learn to make bread and pasta and pastry, he calls it the Holy Trilogy. If you can learn to make them, to be fair, it took me a while to find the right recipes, but once you find them, then you'll never go back. And also, when you're cooking, do a double portion because one of the hardest things is, when I don't work anymore, but I know when people get home from work, they're really tired, and people rely on takeaways or boxed meals. But if you actually take a bit of time and do a double lot, put it in the freezer, then you've got an instant meal for those days when you don't feel like cooking. That's
100% right. You are right. So
but I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form. But it's the hardest thing. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with, being told that, and clearing out your cupboards, and throwing everything. I gave lots of things away to friends, and but it's making sure that everything's clean and not sharing bread, butter, and all of those small things. And may contain statements. Nobody told me about may contain statements initially. Apart from once I joined Celiac UK, then I was able to access all the information. But I think it's very important to join Celiac UK, and they've got loads of really useful videos on YouTube, which are about reading labels and things.
Yeah. See, my doctor just phoned me as well. He didn't actually meet me, and he said, "Are you aware that you've got celiac disease?" Because I was actually suicidal.
Oh God.
Yeah, I didn't want to be here. I used to drive my car and I just wanted to sway, like just leave the steering wheel and just.
I really feel for you because I was so depressed. We haven't touched on this, but I was so depressed before.
And you just wonder what's going on, right?
No, my mood has changed. I used to worry about every single thing. I couldn't make a logical decision about things. I used to worry about things I didn't need to worry about. And there's a there is a gut-brain link, isn't there?
It is, yeah. I mean, people don't understand. They just, when you said as well, oh, you can have just a little bit, you will just have a tummy ache. But it's not just the tummy ache. It's for me and you, for example, it's our mental health. Honestly, when I get glutened, I'm angry. I'm sad. Like my mood instantly changes. I know when I've been glutened straight away, not because of the pain, it's because of my mood as well.
Yeah, me too. That's what oats were doing. They just pulled me right back down again. And it was quite remarkable, the difference. I thought, we went to Turkey on holiday, and because there wasn't a lot of choice of eating out, I took some free from snacks with me, like little packets of biscuits, because you couldn't, over here you can buy a Magnum ice cream, but there was no ice cream. So I thought I need to take some biscuits or something, so I've got something sweet to eat. So when everybody else is having it, but you eat a lot of the things had oats in.
Yeah.
My mood just spiraled right down.
Yeah.
I feel like you do. I feel mentally so much better. It's quite incredible that food can do that to your brain. I still find it incredible, but now I've experienced the difference it's made, taking it out of my diet. It's fantastic.
I'm so glad that you're feeling a lot better. It's really good to hear, like almost like a success story, that people actually, you found out what's wrong with you and now you're feeling a lot better, because a lot of people are still in the dark and they don't know what's going on with them. Because for me, I wanted to know what's wrong with me. They wanted to give me antidepressants and I refused. I said, no, I know there's something wrong.
Yeah, I refused them as well a few times over the years, and I suffered with depression over the years, and I refused to take them because I didn't want. I had so many addiction stories, and I thought I don't want to start down that road. And I'm really glad that I did now, because I mentally I'm so much in such a better place now than I've ever been. I think
it's very good. I think we're both Googled antidepressants, and I was like, no way. What if I take them for years, and then you get addicted, and then what happens? It's not a solution.
Yeah. No, it isn't. It's just putting it on the shelf, isn't it? Putting it in a box and hoping it will go away, and it's still there.
It's like taking painkillers forever.
Yeah, definitely. And they probably wouldn't have helped anyway once you find out that gluten is the problem.
Yeah.
So that just a waste of time. Exactly. But the fatigue thing is the most amazing thing, because I used to be, by 2 o'clock I'd be a waste of space. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd have days, and I'd say to my husband, and I thought, well, I'm over 60 now. Is this what it feels like? I didn't connect the two things.
But this is what they want us to do, to blame everything on age, because it was the same with me, and I'm only 30. Well, now I'll be 35, but my joints were aching. We lived in a 2-bedroom house before we moved to this house, and I used to suffer, like struggle to go up to the second floor, and I'm 35.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, well, I have so much. I mean, I walk every day because we have dogs.
Yeah.
So, and the benefits of walking are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But before I wasn't able, I did walk a lot.
Yeah.
But now I have the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of feeling exhausted after a walk, I feel energized.
Exactly, and it's more enjoyable for you, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Jen, that was lovely. Thank you so much for your time. It's lovely to talk to you, my love.
Oh, you too. Well, I hope it's helpful, and I hope I haven't burbled on. I'm a bit of a talker.
No, I loved it. Honestly, you've been natural. I like it. It's the honest truth.
Okay, no problem.
Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Oh, you too. Bye-bye.